lesson 6-1. Wow, chapter 6, lesson 1. We're talking about percents. This whole chapter's on percents. Now here's the thing. We did most of this chapter last year, so it shouldn't be much of a shocker to you because you've done a lot of this before. And a lot of it you're going to say, oh yeah, I remember doing something like this at least. If you were at my class last year, we did it about exactly the same time last year. I'm guessing if you were from Spalding, you guys did it like the first or second, probably about the second month of school, my guess. So, just so you know, you had it just a long time ago, all right? Before Mr. Brunsma. So that tells you how long ago it was. So today, we're going to talk about the percent proportion. Now, if you remember, I taught you 2 ways how to do this last year. I taught you proportion and I taught you equation way. There's 2 different ways. Now, at the end of these 2 lessons, I don't care which way you choose. I don't care if you like proportion way better. Some people do. Some people would rather do the equation way. That's fine. But today you have to do proportion way, and tomorrow you have to do equation way. After that, you can choose what you want. Like on the test, I'll say you can use whatever you want. Okay? So I don't care after this. But, no, just the first 2 are proportion and equation. So I don't really care which way you use, but today and tomorrow you have to use what we learned in class because I want you to give each one a fair shot. Does that make sense? Oh, did ya? Thanks. Okay, before we talk about anything today, let's go back and talk about the basics of decimals and percents. And percents to decimals, fractions to decimals, fractions to percents, and all that good stuff. Maddie? Sure. What are you going to tell me? Okay, so I was going to ask, before Maddie read my mind, I was going to say, how do I change that to a percent? What did you do to get that? I'm going to move the decimal to the right 2 places. If I'm going to change a decimal to a percent, I'm going to move it 2 spaces. So this would be 24%. If I have this over here, how many spaces am I going to move it to make it a percent? 2. So it would be 0.38%. You can just put a 0 in front of there if you want. Okay. What if I have this? 43%. How would I change that to a decimal? 2 places to the left. Right. Okay, so here's the thing. When I taught this to 7th grade, they would be like, well, I ran out of room, so I only moved it once. You can't just move it once. It's always 2 spaces. For example, like if I had this, if I said change this to a decimal, they would move it 1 space. Well, I ran out of room. There was no more numbers. Well, what can you put there? You can put a 0 there. So it's always 2. Get that in your head right now. It's always 2 spaces. Okay? Questions on that? All right, my next thing is, if I have a fraction, how would I change this to a percent, Carver? And then what? Well, if I divide... Correct. Right, so you guys know how to find your own homework grades, right? Like if I give you like 16 out of 20, what would you do? Divide and move the decimal over. It's the same thing with a fraction. Okay. Well, maybe. I don't know. Maybe that would... Yeah, well, never mind. We aren't going to go there. But... No. Just know that if you need to change a fraction to a decimal, divide and then move it 2 spaces to make it a percent. Everybody remember how to do stuff like that. Okay, we're going to touch a little bit more on this tomorrow. Okay, so this really has nothing to do with today, but I just wanted to get you back into the swing of decimals and fractions and percents. We'll talk about this more tomorrow. Today, what we're talking about is proportion. Okay, so we're going to be given a scenario, and we got to figure out maybe the part, the total, or the percent. And this is what we're going to use today, so make sure you have this. And also is and of. This will also help you if you're not sure the part and the total. Oh, okay, I don't remember that, but... so we're going to use part over total, or is over of, is equal to percent over 100. You have to have this in your notebook. Yes, it is. Not joking. Life or death for your grade, maybe. Doesn't mean they can't go down very quickly. You know, a lot of times it's easier to take your grade down than it is to get it up. You guys know that, right? Very easy. Yeah, you have to work. All right, so the biggest thing here is the thing that always stays in this proportion is 100. 100 is always there no matter what. It never changes. Okay? So let's talk about how we're going to use this today. Okay, so this is a type of problem you're going to see. 45% of 1500 is what number? Okay? Time out, girlfriend. Just hang out a second. Okay? So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to like decode this sentence. Okay, so what are some things I know in there? Well, 45% of is, you see that? All right, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put 100 on the bottom. Now, somebody tell me what is another thing that I can fill in with what I've read and talked about up here. Maddie. 45. Holy cow, stop now. I'm going to let somebody else do some more. Okay, 45 because that's percent. Dylan. Okay, because that's always your of, right? So 1500. Now I have is what number. When I have something is what number, that's what I'm looking for. So what can go there? X. Okay. So now what's going to happen is you're going to solve like you did last time. You know how to solve these. We use cross products, right? You're going to do the same thing here. So you're going to take 1500. I hope you guys are writing down some kind of example. I hopefully have an answer. You know, I wouldn't because a lot of times it's easier to divide by 100 than any other number. Okay? So I would not. So 0, 0, that's 5. It is not a decimal. When I deal with percent and proportion, I don't have to do anything with decimals. Nothing. It'll take care of itself. So don't worry about that. 6, 7, 5, 0, 0. So I multiplied those two together, 1500 times 45, and I got 67,500. Then I'm going to divide by 100. Does everybody remember? And you know, you could do this in your head because you just move your decimal 2 spaces. So my answer should be 675. That's fine, but yeah, you're making it way harder than what it is, I feel like. Just, you know, well, that's fine. I don't care however you do it. However you do it's fine, but just don't. Maddie's got her own way. All right, let's talk about this one. Here's another type, okay? So this isn't going to look for your part this time. This is looking for something else. So what percent of 1200 is 276? So how would I set it up? Okay, somebody I haven't heard from yet. Let's talk to Riley. What do you got? What? What do you got? Yep. Correct? Okay, so what percent? Do I know that? Yep. Okay. Now I'm going to multiply. So go ahead and solve. Go ahead and solve. This is going to come out easy. It's not going to be... Okay, stop. Like this one, Maddie, you could take 2 zeros off of both. You could do that for here. I know. So you're just telling me what to do. So let's see. If I take both zeros off, I get it goes in twice. 24, right? 36 goes in 3 times. And that's it. So 23. Now listen, what's it asking for though? Percent. So what has to go behind that 23? Percent sign. Yep. So careful with what they're asking for. If they're asking for a percent, they want a sign behind it. So make sure you're doing that. Yep. Nope. You have to move 0 decimals in these. When you work with proportion, you don't have to work with any decimals. None. Unless let's say you divide and you come out to a decimal here, which is possible. But no, you don't got to move any decimals. No, nothing. Nothing. Nope. Okay, let's try a few more. Let's do this one together. Let's do this one together. And then I'll let you try one by yourself. 12 is 20% of what number? Make sure you have some stuff written down, like an example in your notebook, just in case. Because when you get to your homework tonight or in class here, I want you to be able to know what goes where. So let's see. 20 should go here, 100 should go here. 12 is of what number? You made it hard for yourself. Yes. Well, how do you know that? Well, now he's got figured out they got to take a good note. You two, are you ready back there? Okay. What did you get for X? It should be 60. Okay. Do this one by yourself for me. Do this one by yourself. It is going to come out to the tenths place. But it should be easy because you're going to divide the tenths place, one decimal behind the decimal. The place behind the decimal. Okay, Kenzie, I would ask Buddy for your note for the notes, okay? Watch the video. We'll have plenty of time here to catch you up. Thank you. Know the answer already? This is the easy one because you had to divide by 100. You can just read the test. Well, should always be in the back here, right? Yep, right. Yep, yep. Well, if you're dividing by, what was your big number? 83500. 38410, this, and you're dividing by 100. When you divide by 100, you take the decimal. Remember, when you divide, your number gets smaller, right? So if I move it 2 spaces, it should be this. That's why it's easier not to reduce, because when you divide by 100, all you're going to do is move that decimal. If you don't have 100 there, you're going to actually have to do the problem, right? Okay. Yes, ma'am. Sure. Which one part do you want me to explain? This dividing by the 100? Okay, so what happened is you guys should have multiplied. What did you multiply? 835 times 46, right? And this is what you got. And then you're going to divide by 100, right? So when I divide by 100, all I need to do is move my decimal 2 spaces to the left. Okay, enough. I see it again. You're going to sit in the hallway. Cut it out. Okay? Seriously. Is that better? I'm going to show you a story problem real quick. Okay, so here's the thing about story problems. Story problems, just hold your horses. Holy cow. I think she already watched my 7th grade YouTube videos on percents. When you have percents in a story problem, it's not going to have an is and of. Okay? You have to think to yourself, is this the total? Is this part of my total? You actually have to use your brain and think about it, okay? Not all the time. It will not always say that. Okay? But it also says of the students. Well, 425 isn't the of. It's the part. It's the is. So you cannot use your is and your of in story problems. You have to think to yourself, like there are 500 students in East Middle School. Is that the total number of students? There are 500. That's the total. So that's going to go in your bottom. So I don't see any ofs around that 500. Then I have, and 425 of them are in the after-school program. Is 425 the total or part of the students that are in? It's part. So it's going to look like this. It's going to look like this. 425 over 500 is equal to x over 100. Okay, I'll let them solve it. Just, oh my gosh. You can easily take zeros off of this one too. It's a high percentage of students. I'll explain the students to Mackenzie. You're looking at me like I'm crazy right now. It is easy. Maddie, like, pretty sure, I don't know, was reading my mind. Yep. Yeah. Or if they didn't, you just take one off each one, or they don't have to always have the same. These are two have the same. Somebody other than Maddie, what did you guys give for the answer? Brian? Yes, 85%. Sorry, Maddie. Okay, any questions on how to do this? Because I'm going to let you use the rest of the time to work. Okay. Now listen, I have some things I want to talk about